thank you so much for joining another episode of Why I Love Flagler County. Today, I'm super honored to have my guest, Sara Rinker, with me today. Sara runs her own business. I'll let her talk a little bit on what it is because I feel like I'm not going to get the verbiage correctly. But I have it on my desk as she does the tallow business. So I met Sara through the local church, Parkview Church, and she also is very active in the community with all the markets and the European Village and everything like that. So Sara, thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your very busy schedule to spend it with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. You can see I'm busy with my two little ones. They keep me, they're their full-time job. My little business is a full-time job. I'm busy. Come on over. You want to come sit? She could join us if she wants. Yeah, hi. Yeah, so my little tallow business I started just about exactly 6 months ago, pretty much 1 year after moving here. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so it's been lots of fun.
That is a
Just
lot of fun. And maybe if you want to spend just a minute or two explaining what is like tallow, what are those products? What do they help with? Just for someone who's maybe like hearing the words, like, what is this? I've never heard
yeah,
these
yeah,
letters make this word.
right. So tallow, and I'm like a professional at explaining it because I do all these markets, and like my
Hmm.
first question is always, "Do you know what tallow is?" And a lot of people do. Some people have like different ideas of what it would be used for. So tallow is rendered beef fat. So it's the fat. It's not just like the fat that you would cut off a steak or that would cook
Hmm.
off of ground beef. It is the fat that surrounds the vital organs of the cow, mostly the kidney area. So that fat is super nutrient dense. It's full of vitamins A, D, E, and K. Um, there's some B12 in there too. The vitamin E in grass-fed cows is actually 4 times the amount of vitamin E compared to conventional like grain-fed cows. So this fat is rendered down. I render it myself actually, and yeah, so it goes from being just a slab of fat to then rendering it down, and it's kind of hard. So that's why some people say like, oh, these people use it for soaps, people use it for candles, because it is kind of hard. And then I blend my tallow with hemp seed oil and then some organic essential oils. And then I whip my tallow. So it's kind of more moussey and fluffy. And then we use it as a moisturizer. So I use
Yeah.
it on my face. Yeah, my girls use it on bug bites and really any type of skin thing. I have people ask me all the time, like, oh, would this be good for like really dry skin or would it be good for eczema? Um, I mean, any type of little scrape or sunburn, it's good for all the things, all
Yeah.
skin, really.
Those are
Yeah.
really great examples. Like I know for myself, I have eczema. Like I had a little patch right here, but I used like some of my lotion and then I also used a lot of your tallow. Just had this
Yeah.
small thing and it definitely helped. Like I don't think it was like water that was like bothering it for some reason. It's like I was
And
washing my hands too much, which is like such a weird problem to have. Um, but yeah, so that's awesome. So
yeah.
why don't you tell just a little bit on how you came to Flagler? Because you said you've been here for about a year and a half, if I'm correct.
Yes. Yes. So we have been living here. We moved Memorial Day weekend a year and a half ago. So, um, yeah, 2022.
Hmm.
Yes. Um, and yeah, we moved from New Jersey. So pretty much my husband had like his job that he was at, like corporate was kind of buying over like his company and like taking over um whatever. His job was ending and he was going to be looking for a new job. So we were like, well, we and we had some other things kind of go on in our life where we were looking at selling our house. Um and we've always wanted to move to Florida. And we were just, just it's always been something that we wanted to do. We had the opportunity to do it. And so we we were the pioneers. No one else in our family. My aunt lives in Ormond. So we did have some family. My best friend lives in Orlando, and I've been traveling to Florida every year for over 15 years, really, to see my best friend, just to visit. But yeah, we knew we wanted to move to Florida. So we had come to Palm Coast um, to for my aunt's wedding. She got married at the Hammock in 2020
Mhm.
before all the crazy happened right before. And she got married at the Hammock, and we went into Palm Coast and we went to the Metro Diner, and we were like, how cool is it to like imagine people live here? Like we were here on vacation. And so we were like, how cool would it be to live here in Palm Coast? And, we just kind of all joked about it then. And then, fast forward 2 years and not even 2 years really. And we had the opportunity to move. And so we came down, we were like, oh, let's check out all these different areas. And so we looked a little bit north, a little bit south, and we were like, we love Palm Coast. We love the surrounding like area. We love it here. So we're like, why are we even going to look anywhere else? And we honestly really didn't. Um, and I think this was the first house we made an offer on. And at first they told us no. And then they called and we were like, all right, it's just, God's closing that door. He'll open another one. And then they called us back and they said, actually, the buyer that we had just backed out. And so we got the house and we moved quickly. And here we are.
Wow, that's awesome. So similar happened to us too. We were looking around in Palm Coast and we had put an offer on a house and it hadn't gone through and we're like, all right. And then like 2 days before we had just seen a buyer and they're like, we don't have any houses that are like being built. We only have lots. So that's like 6, 7 months out. And
Yeah.
we were like, oh, that's so long. We kind of want to move sooner. And then they called us literally the day that the other house fell through and they're like, some buyer just backed out of this house. Do you want it? And it was like bigger
Right.
than what we were like even hoping for. And we were like, oh my gosh, okay. And it was in the
Yeah.
section we ended up wanting anyway. And we are like, okay. It's just like, it's
Yep.
funny how those things line up. um,
For sure, for sure.
yeah,
And it's funny too, the whole like, you're once you make the decision to move, you're like, let's go. We want to be there.
right.
We don't want anyone to tell us that we have to wait months. We just want to get there. So,
Right. Yeah, and moving from up north is like a lot of work though. Like especially when you realize you're like, "Oh, I don't have that much stuff." And then you look and you're like, "Oh,
right. And
my."
we really didn't move with that much stuff. We sold a lot of stuff. We got rid of a lot of stuff. And we
Same.
downsized a lot. Yeah. We got a bigger house than what we lived in New Jersey, but we have less things, which is good. I like
Same.
having, yes.
Yes.
But we still moved with two kids and two dogs. So we were very blessed to have my parents and my brother and sister um, come down with us and drive. My mom drove with me and the dogs and the kids, and then my husband and my brother drove the U-Haul. So it was a whole adventure getting down here. But
That's
now we're
awesome.
here
Yeah,
and we love it. We love, love, love living here.
I love that. Well, you had also mentioned that you started your business about 6 months ago. So what was it that inspired you to start?
So I have always made things like whether it be like I taught myself how to crochet and I crocheted a huge blanket when my first daughter was born. And then even just little things like elderberry syrup, like so linen spray, all natural. I've always been, into more natural things. And and so many people would always say, "Oh, this is really good. You should sell this." "Oh, Sarah, you should like start a business and sell that or whatever." And, it's been one of those things where it's like, yeah, but like, I'm not going to start a business just selling elderberry syrup, you know? And then it's like, well, just what would I sell that, but I've always kind of had it on me, like, that voice in my head, like saying like, start a business. And, um, I then last January, well, no, this past January, I had this weird recurring rash on my hands, and everything I was using, it was like eczema, really. And so it was like on my knuckles, and burned. It was like dry. Anything that I put on it, even natural stuff, was like burning the little cracks in my hands. So then somebody recommended tallow,
Hmm.
and I I ordered it from a farm, just plain tallow, not tallow balm, just plain tallow. Because I had been making a balm with like coconut oil and what else? Maybe like a shea butter. So I was making balm, a balm with certain essential oils and stuff, and it was kind of greasy. It wasn't really like healing my skin or really even making my skin feel better. Um, um, so go ahead. Um, so then I had ordered the tallow, and it was just plain tallow, and I um I made a balm out of it. And yeah, so I made sure it was like a good farm, grass-fed cows, like their cows are treated well and like not, given all kinds of chemicals and whatever. So then I just kind of perfected that balm. And once all the family tried it, they were like, you should sell this. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sell this. And so and it really started helping multiple members of my family. My sister has acne. So the balm using it on her face. Um, my dad, his cracked heels, dry feet, like it really
Right.
helped him. My mom with her dry hands, so it was like, and then my aunt was like, I love this stuff. I need a whole tub of it, and then I gave it to my best friend and she used it on her baby. And, so it's like all these different people were using it and giving me feedback. And yeah, so then I created a chapstick and an exfoliating balm. And it's just kind of, I didn't want it to have so many products, but
Right.
um, I know there's a lot of different kinds of needs, so I have there's some things the 2024 that are like on the priority list of things to make, to do like a sunblock is one of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
My sister is really bugging me for a deodorant. She wants me to make a deodorant. So that's
That would be
there.
good.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna expand, but I'm a one woman show, so it's just a lot. But I'm
Yeah.
kind of taking it slow. So yeah, so that's how I started. And I had a friend who is a homeschooling mom, business owner, and she was like, just do it. Open, get your LLC, and everything else will fall into place. So I did it, and I was like, I'm going for it. I'm gonna get my LLC. I'm gonna open up my website, and then and I've always wanted, going to the European Village to Mezzaluna, sitting outside, and it's like, how cool would it be to be at the market here? Like I could like see myself here, and now I'm there like every Sunday. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so you just mentioned the markets, and I think that's a great segue into that. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about, like going to the markets and what has been your experience, and maybe if you have any advice for anyone who might start looking into getting into any of these markets.
sure. Can we pause?
Hmm. Yes.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. Recording? Yeah, so I think you brought up the holiday markets, which I think is a great segue into the next question, which is I know you're really active at the markets. Do you have any advice maybe for someone who's looking into getting in the markets, and what has been your experience with them?
Yeah. So the markets are so much fun. I Sometimes I feel like how could I possibly still be meeting new people and like I mean, I definitely get people come back to, give me feedback on the products and which is so exciting for me for people to come back and like, say, oh, I need to buy the bigger one or, just like tell me how it's really working for them. Um, but yeah, so it is so much fun. I mean, I am a people person, so I really just enjoy meeting new people, talking to them, and yeah, I mean, everyone who comes up, I feel like I love to hear their story, where they're from. Um, so yeah, the markets are very fun for me. Um, and as a business owner, they are it. I mean, people ask me like, "Oh, do you have a store?" And I'm like, I don't think, even my dad was just asking me when he was visiting for Thanksgiving. He was like, um, would that be something you would ever think of doing? And I'm like, I don't know that I would really need it, number one, or really want it because there's no overhead, to go to a market.
Hmm.
And, it's a part-time thing for me. I mean, the work is there to get to the market throughout the week. I have plenty to do. Um, but yeah, so the markets are really, really working for me. Plus, it's like I'm at these markets regularly. Flagler Beach on Saturdays, around the holidays, I've had a few other like holiday markets and stuff. So I haven't been there in a few weeks. But the European Village, I'm pretty much at every Sunday, which is just very cool for me to
Yeah, the
just.
European Village market is so nice, and I think there's just so many businesses. And I guess I don't know. I always knew it was big when I go without the people there, but then when you go, there's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that you could fit this many people into
Yes,
this
yes,
space.
right.
Um,
And
yeah.
that has been so cool too, just like meeting other business owners that are, just like me. Just, like we're not big business, we're small business. But we all like, we know the work that it takes to get there, to get to Sunday. Um, but yeah, I've like made friends there that have like become really good friends, and our kids are friends now. So it's been really great. Yeah.
Awesome. Did you have any advice for anyone who might be looking to get into the markets, or because I know sometimes it's easy to kind of just want to set up a table and not really know how to prepare, and then you feel like,
Right.
oh, people don't like my product, or maybe these markets don't work, and it's like sometimes there's just that missing thing that you don't realize until you've done it a few times.
Right. So the European Village is a very well-run market. We have excellent managers. Not just any business can, pop up a tent. It's not a flea market. It's a business that is run there. And I mean, they require you to have proper business licenses and um, even like submit pictures of your tent, so like that, which was helpful for me because I was glad that my first market, I wasn't going to be setting up my first market like,
Hmm.
the first time there. I did it in my backyard, and, then I don't know, for me, it was a lot of fun. Like, it's just go for it. My advice would be just go for it, do it. And I to think about my table when I first started and how like kind of bare it was, and now my tent. I mean, you came and saw me at the holiday market, and it was like you walked right in, and it was like
Right.
a little shop, and um, but yeah, just do what you need to do and go for it. It's definitely worth it, and once you're there, it's so much fun. It's so much
That's
fun.
awesome. Yeah, I think that's really key in a lot of things that you want to start new. You get in your head and it's like, oh, what if this doesn't work? What if I can't talk to people? What if
Mhm.
people don't want my product? It's like you don't know until you try. And
Right,
maybe if it isn't what it needs to be, then you have the data to pivot if needed.
right,
But I think if you give it time and you give it grace, I think you'll find a lot of people can use and need what you want or
yeah,
want to give. And I think really
right.
special.
Yeah, people
Uh,
just need to, I mean, like you said, like get out of your own head. A big thing for me is that I'm aware of my competition, and
mhm.
obviously it's out there, but I really don't follow my competition on like
Right.
social media pages because I don't want that to kind of, steer my business. I want to be genuine to who I am, and, the ideas that God gives me, I want to, bring them to life and not have it be fueled by what other people are doing.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It's tough just as a mom to, like in
Yeah.
motherhood to get other people out of your head even, and comparing and everything.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, as a business owner, just like I look back and I definitely thank the people that told me to go for it, and I say thank you for just telling me do it, just go after it. You have a good idea, um, you can do it, but you can't do it if you don't do it.
That's very
So
true. I think that's great. That's definitely some really sound something to keep in mind. Getting out of your head, but then also not, staring too much at what other people are doing. It's not gonna help you. People
right,
usually follow you or like your products because you stand out from it, not because you're
right,
following the trend. Um, not because you're replicating every other product you see
Right.
out there. They like when you stand out, when you add a little bit something else to it. Yeah, so is there any last thing you kind of want to throw out there before I wrap it up, or anything that you think people should know? What is the best way that someone could get in contact with you or find you? I know you're always at the European Village Market and sometimes the Flagler Beach one, but maybe if they want to contact you directly or your website.
Yeah, so I do have a website and I ship all over the country. My website is just flaglertallowco.com. And then my Instagram, you can just message me or Facebook, message my business page and it'll be me.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure to have those links in the description so people can find those just a little bit easier. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for the time today. I really appreciate it and I really enjoyed this conversation. It was a total blast.
Yes, thank you.
Bye.